Astana's International Airport's VIP terminal is a bit crowded today. The representatives of press, protocol, state guard service all are standing by to host the Chinese leader Xi Jinping, who will arrive to take part in the second Central Asia-China Summit. We got a moment to talk to the newly appointed ambassador of China to Kazakhstan, Han Chunlin, about his expectations ahead of the visit of President Xi. And what does China expect in terms of outcomes of this summit this year?
I hope that there will be a lot of agreements will be signed in various fields, including in the trade, economic and trade and industry, and also in the humanitarian and I don't think but the cultural, in the cultural sector, and also in the technological, and I think they will cover a lot of areas.
So the official visit of the Chinese President Xi Jinping to Kazakhstan starts now. He's welcomed by the presidents of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. It is expected that President Xi will hold bilateral meetings with President Tokayev later today, as well as take part in second China Central Asia Summit, with an expectation of deliveries of all Central Asian countries. Welcoming ceremony in the airport also includes a march performed by Guard of Honor. The flags of Kazakhstan and China have flown over in a sign of deep appreciation.
习爷爷您好，欢迎您再次来到阿斯塔纳。尊敬的习爷爷您好，和平幸福永不停。
你们是哈萨克族还是汉族啊？
In the airport, young kids read welcoming verses in Chinese. Others perform national dances of two countries. Later, the kids say that the moment was very thrilling.
I said to the President of China, "Dear Grandpa Xi, we are very pleased with your arrival in Kazakhstan. I know that Kazakhstan and China are like close relatives, always maintaining peace and harmony. May your visit, which will strengthen our friendship even more, be successful."
Now, President Xi approaches Akorda Presidential Palace in a China-made Hanchi, a car he brings with him on foreign visits. President Tokayev meets his counterpart at the yard of the palace, again a gesture of a deep appreciation. Together, they come inside. Opening negotiations with President Xi Jinping, President Tokayev emphasizes that this visit is once again vivid evidence of sincere and unwavering friendship between the two countries.
So now you can see that negotiations in the extended format have started, so a little bit lower. Now President Tokayev once again welcomed his Chinese counterpart. It's very important to mention that bilateral relations are developing very rapidly. The trade turnover has grown exponentially during the last 2 years. We know that after this meeting, President Tokayev and President Xi will take part in the ceremony of exchange documents. It is expected that Kazakh and Chinese officials will sign a number of strategic agreements in the presence of the two presidents.
The head of state continues, stating that relations between two countries are steadily stable and are not subject to the negative impact of geopolitical challenges and upheavals, as well as international conjuncture.
Китай никогда не ставит каких-либо политических условий в сотрудничестве с Казахстаном.
China never places any political conditions on cooperation with Kazakhstan. We appreciate your unwavering support for our sovereignty and security guarantees. We support China's peace-loving initiatives and highly appreciate your country's key role in building a just world order.
President Xi Jinping in turn expresses gratitude to the head of state for the warm welcome.
作为友好邻邦和战略伙伴。
As good neighbors and strategic partners, we sincerely admire your achievements and rejoice for you. Relations between China and Kazakhstan have withstood the test of the fickle world situation and continue to develop dynamically. This has been possible not only due to geographical proximity and centuries-old friendship, but also due to the natural need for joint development of our countries.
The counterparts discuss important topics of bilateral relations. President Tokayev mentions further cooperation in nuclear energy, saying that Kazakhstan considers Chinese CNNC as a reliable strategic partner for the construction of a second nuclear power plant in the country. Apart from being a valued supplier of natural uranium and nuclear fuel to China, Kazakhstan also continues to strengthen energy dialogue in oil and gas sectors.
Сегодня на полях саммита у нас была возможность подписать большие проекты.
Today we had an opportunity to sign big projects. First of all, it is a framework agreement to expand the Shymkent oil refinery capacity by 2 times from 6 to 12 million tons. Another agreement will be a very important project for agriculture, for the economy, and which provides further processing is the carbonate project in Aktobe region. And we are also developing cooperation in gas production and gas processing. The Northern One project will be developed jointly with the Chinese Oil and Gas Corporation CNPC and our gas flagship company Kazakh Gas.
After negotiations that lasted more than an hour, members of the official delegation are now starting the ceremony of exchanging documents in the presence of 2 presidents. Those documents cover cooperation in energy, airspace, digitalization, customs regulation, agriculture, e-commerce, and many more. The leaders of Central Asia now join the panel to start discussions.
The second Central Asia-China summit has started in Astana with all leaders of Central Asian countries who joined the panel. Remember, you can see the president of Kazakhstan is welcoming the high participants of the event in Chinese. There is a number of topics on agenda aiming at strengthening regional cooperation. It is also expected that the participants of the event will adopt a joint declaration as an outcome of the summit.
Speaking at the summit, President Tokayev underlines that thanks to mutual trust and joint efforts of Central Asian countries and China, an unprecedented model of cooperation in the spirit of true good neighborliness, friendship and mutual support has emerged, whilst the synergy of existing opportunities will create a powerful foundation for further dynamic and mutually beneficial cooperation with China.
Совокупный валовый внутренний продукт центральноазиатских государств.
The combined GDP of the Central Asian states is steadily approaching $500 billion. Over the past 5 years, intra-regional trade turnover has increased significantly, exceeding $10 billion. Last year, China accounted for about 40% of the total foreign trade turnover of our region, which amounted to a record $95 billion. Kazakhstan accounted for 46% of this indicator. Mutual trade turnover with China reached $44 billion. Chinese investments, the total amount of which exceeded $26 billion, have become an important component of Kazakhstan's economic growth. About 5,000 enterprises with Chinese capital successfully operate in Kazakhstan.
The head of state continues, highlighting that Central Asia is to become an epicenter of peace, sustainable security, and productive interaction. For that, a joint effort is needed to continue the fight against religious extremism, terrorism, separatism, drug trafficking, illegal arms trade, migration, and human trafficking.
Главами государств подписываются Астанинская декларация и договор о вечном добрососедстве.
Following the agenda of the summit, the heads of state signed the Astana Declaration as well as the Treaty on Perpetual Good Neighborliness, Friendship and Cooperation between Central Asia and China.
Регион Центральной Азии для Китая он очень важен.
The Central Asian region is very important for China since it is a neighboring region. China in general, within the framework of diplomacy development with the neighboring states, it gives priority to the Central Asian region, and in this region, of course, Kazakhstan occupies the most important position, given the volume of our economy. That is why our Chinese friends always emphasize the importance of bilateral cooperation. In this sense, the China-Central Asia Summit is also very important. This is the second summit. The first summit was held in 2023 in China, in Xi'an. At the first summit, we had the establishment of this format at the level of heads of state, and this summit will be a transition from those statements and declarations of intentions to practical work.
The adoption of the Astana Declaration and Treaty of Good Neighborliness, Friendship and Cooperation was a key outcome of the second Central Asia-China Summit held in Astana. The participants shared aspiration to build a common future based on mutual trust and support, especially in the face of the global geopolitical challenges, sends a powerful message to the world. Central Asia and China can set a long-term example of a true partnership. That's it for today. See you next time. Bye-bye.